All right. Welcome to Success School, the Enlightened Mastery School of Self-Coaching. So I do this completely for myself to practice teaching this curriculum. I taught this to hundreds of people one-on-one, but having to speak it out loud in front of a camera with nobody in front of me is a lot harder. So here goes nothing. So again, this is Success School. This is the Enlightened Mastery School of Self-Coaching, which means I take this and I coach myself through my life every single day. So let me jump straight to it because the why, right? The why is to achieve absolutely everything possible in our life all in one go. Okay, so what does that mean? Imagine you have amazing health, right? Because if you lose your health, game over. All right. Imagine you have amazing health, you have great wealth, money in your bank account, right? So that is the current wealth. And imagine you have amazing relationships. How good is your life right now? Okay. So that is the fundamental building block of what I call the life equation. What it takes to play this game of being on Earth. So I'm developing this program that's also called Welcome to Earth School. So this version right now is called Success School. Anyways, come back to here. How do I use it every single day? Well, let me zoom in and then I'll talk about the other parts later. This is the most significant part that I use every single day that I wake up. Okay, this is the physical health equation. So health, wealth, relationships. So let's focus in on health. My health equation is rest, fuel, clean, dress, exercise, stretch, and balance. Okay. Now, how I derive the order is I take things away to see if I'm still alive. Okay. Give me 1 second. My nose is sneezy. Oh, that's frustrating when you can't get a sneeze out. Okay, moving on. So, a lot of people don't exercise, they don't really stretch, and they don't work on their balance. Mm, the sneeze is just right there on the edge. It's just, yep, I'm sure we all felt that. Okay, so how I derive the order of this is I take things away to see if I'm still alive, right? A lot of people don't exercise, they don't stretch, they don't work on their balance. Well, they're still alive, right? Maybe their life isn't so great, but they're still doing okay. If you don't have a fancy job, you don't really need to get dressed, right? Wear pajamas, whatever, you know? Okay, so we take that away. But if we don't brush our teeth, if we don't shower, life isn't going to be so great after a while, right? Okay. But now, if I don't eat or drink water, I'm just going to die, right? But even if I drink water and I eat well and I don't sleep, I'm going to go crazy and then I'll die, right? So that's why it's rest first, fuel, clean, dress, exercise, stretch, and balance. Okay? So how I use this every single day. I am very ADHD. I keep forgetting what I'm doing. I don't remember like, oh, did I get everything right? So I need a checklist. So I run through this checklist in the morning. When I wake up, have I slept enough? You know, if it's 8 a.m. and I slept at midnight, it's like, great, I got 8 hours, cool. Now I get up. If I slept at like 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. and I wake up at 8, it's like, maybe I should stay in bed for another hour or so, or 2 hours, so I get enough rest. Okay, I wake up. Well, for me personally, I like to put my electric shaver right by my bed. So before I even get up, I do a little quick shave. And that's the quickest little thing I can do to shapen up my appearance for the day. So I do a super quick, clean. Clean is everything that gets off my body, hygiene. Okay. Ooh, My nose. Doesn't matter. Keep going. Right? I'm using the art of terribleism, which is the opposite of perfectionism. It's just I do whatever I need to do to just get it out there as terrible as possible until I can't even do it terribly anymore because, that's the idea. So again, if I look bad, if I say stumble, this is part of the exercise of liberation. This whole system liberates us. Well, that seems really grandiose, but it does, right? Liberation means freedom. Okay, come back to here, right? Everyday stuff first. So when I wake up, did I get enough sleep? Rest, okay? Fuel. Well, for me, I do some protein and then some vitamins. Fuel. Boom. Like that's just kind of quick little thing I could do in the morning. Check. Then I get up, I brush my teeth, do anything else I need to do, shower, hair, etc. That's clean. And then I put on whatever clothes I need for the day and I am done. I can finish the checklist for the morning. It used to take me hours, and now, like when I really stack them one at a time and I just really do it focused, I get it done within 30 minutes. Where it used to take like 2 hours. So I call it my 30 minute to freedom and just stay focused and run through it. And at some point during the day, I want to do some sort of exercise, some stretching, and then work on my balance. I stand on one leg and then I use my other leg to just move around however I want to. I want to move it until my other leg that is standing still, I want it to feel tired. I want to be working those little muscles, if I'm right. And those are the muscles we walk around. It could literally save our life someday to work on our balance. If we're walking along somewhere and we trip, that's a literal life hazard eventually. So these are all things that add to our life. Okay, so this is physical health. I added live video here as a reminder of what one of the things I want to do. So live video would actually extend to emotional health and emotional fitness training. But I put it here just as a reminder for myself. So this is all built for me. But in case you like it, then feel free to use it. Yeah, so this slowing down. All right. I'm doing it already much better than the last two times where I just utterly froze up and right? So that is the art of terribleism. Do something as terrible as possible, assuming it doesn't have like physical consequences. Like if I'm a driver, I'm not going to drive as terribly as possible, Like please understand, these are for things that have no consequence, but we stop ourselves anyways. So, right, I've stopped myself from teaching this for years and years. Well, I've only got to this point now, but anyways, moving on, right? Tangents. So the life equation, what we need to be successful in this game of being on Earth is physical health, my immediate wealth, and my close relationships. Now I ask the question, how can I get ahead of it? What leads to these things so I can get one step ahead of it? Okay? So one step about physical health would be my mental, emotional health. One step above my current wealth, this is like the money in my bank account, right? But so what refills the money in my bank account are my businesses, my jobs and career, or maybe a fancy hobby that pays really well, or maybe my investments and savings. Well, savings doesn't really refill it, but investments. Now, my definition of a business has to operate without you, or else it's not a business, it's a job. Right? Self-employed is still a self-created job. Okay, that's the difference between a business and a job and a career. Okay. Now, Where do my close relationships come from? They come from my community, right? And my community can consist of, you know, for business, for fun, or for a cause that doesn't really make money and it's not fully just for fun because the world needs it. Right? That makes pretty clean sense. All right, so you see, and here's the thing. We want to do these three things in this order, right? Health, wealth, relationships, one, and then we go up to health, wealth, relationships, two. Here's why, right? Physical health, if I die, game over, right? So that's number one. Number two, wealth. If I don't have any relationships, I still need to go to work and get paid and pay the bills. And if I make enough money, I can support a family, right? And even if I had to work really hard to support my family and I don't see them very much, they would still understand, right? However, if I've created a big business and I make more than enough and I don't have to be at work every single day, but I still do that at the expense of my family is not going to be happy. So again, family before business, if you have one, right? But here's the thing. If I built a business at the expense of my mental emotional health, if this goes, so does this. So you can't build a business or a job at the expense of your mental emotional health. Okay? Lastly is community. Well, the reason I put it here is because I used to go networking, right? I used to feel like I'm being productive. I'm making a lot of contacts. Yay! But here's the thing, I didn't have a business or value I was offering to community. So I had no way to, I have nothing to offer them. And then they couldn't offer me value, money in exchange for the value I give them. So it's like marketing without any product to sell, then I'm just kind of wasting time. This if I'm just networking here, it's often can feel like productivity, but it's often a waste of time, perhaps. So just don't take it completely too serious, too far, you know. But that's generally how I have derived this. So health, wealth, relationship, tier one, and then health, wealth, relationship, tier two. What's tier three? Well, I asked myself, what is the highest game I could play in each of these arenas? Well, for health, I imagine, what if every single moment that I live is a fully embodied spirituality, right? What if I realized one day that, wait, every word I speak is already poetry? Every movement that I make is already dance? Every every sound that I make is already song, right? And what if I chained each of these moments, moment by moment, to the end of my days, assuming I also do everything I need to do to maintain my health, my wealth, my relationships, my mental health, my businesses, my communities. I do all that, right? That's chopping wood, carry water, right? That's just what we have to do. Brush our teeth, put on our seatbelts. Like these are not optional for the game of being on Earth with a physical body, right? However, I do all those things, but I also am in the moment, moment by moment. I call it my moment by moment awareness practice. Okay? That is how I think of as health on the highest tier. So I'm fully engaged in life, moment by moment, playing the game full out while maintaining everything else. That's health. What about wealth on the highest tier? Well, here's the thing. I want to make a lot of money. Okay, I said it right. I want to make a lot of money because I want to be free of the cycle of needing to go to work. However, that just makes me a financial Buddha, right? I'm free, yay! But if I help someone else become free as well, I become a financial bodhisattva. And now my interests are aligned with those of others. Okay, I want to make sure everything I do is a win-win-win. Win for me, win for my client, win for the world. That makes everything ethical. Okay, check. I want to make sure I'm aligned to my life purpose. Okay, this is one of the most important part. Okay, and here is why. Health, wealth, relationships alone will get you really far, but it doesn't quite get you all the way. And here is why, right? Let's look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So this is a slightly modified version of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And if you look at it, you'll see that health, wealth, relationships correlate to the lower three tiers of Maslow, right? Physical safety. If I'm getting shot at, it doesn't matter how much money I have. I need to get to safety, right? Now, if I'm safe today, I also want to be safe tomorrow. And in this capitalistic society, what guarantees that is money, right? I can buy a safe place to live, buy healthy food, etc. It'll keep me alive. But all the money in the world will be utterly hollow if I have nobody to share it with. So then I would want to pursue love and belonging. But again, that's not quite enough. It gets you most of the way, like 85% there. What's the last bit? Well, I think we all know somebody or someone that they have a really high paying job. They have a great family, big house, but they hate their job. So now nobody would call that person fully self-actualized, at least not yet. Okay, so what are they missing? They're missing their life purpose. Now imagine you're doing what you love, like what you believe you're put on this earth to do, like everything in your being is like, yes, that's what I love to do. I would do that for free, but people are paying me. Wow. And I have amazing relationships and my health is just spectacular. That is winning the lottery of life. This gets you above this line right here. And when I learned of this line, my entire life changed. This is called the deficit needs line. It's so if you're missing something from underneath this line, you're going to feel like something is missing from your life. I think everybody can see that, right? And when you're above this line, life is amazing. You're doing what you love, getting paid really well for it. You have amazing relationships, and your health is just spectacular. And having these four things automatically put us into what people call the abundance mentality, where you just love life. So this is literally this blah blah blah, right? Brain freeze, reset. Okay, come on back. So yes, so this is deficit needs line. And so my mission now, as far as I can tell as a life coach, is to teach people about these four criterias and to try to get as many people above this line as possible. Yes, that's it. To get as many see, I'm still working on it. All the stuff I've said before, I've said so many times, I'm just delivering it. But now when I hit a snag, I have to do a reset. So thanks for listening to my practice. Okay, coming back here. Okay, so this is the deficit needs line. The goal is to get as many people above this line as possible, and then people are going to start loving their life. They're going to start seeing the world in terms of an abundance mentality, and the world will change. All right, what's above here? Well, imagine somebody who's built a really big company and they sold it and they worked really hard, right? What did they do? Well, they go have fun, play. Of course, they've earned it. Okay. Now, even if you have millions and millions of dollars, there's only so many planes you can buy and so many places you can see and foods you can eat. At some point, you're just gonna run out of fun things to do. You've done it all, and then life is gonna feel hollow. So then what do people do? They either invest in or do art, or they invest in and do science, or they work on themselves, self-actualization, or they try to play the biggest game possible, collective actualization. But here's the thing. A lot of people want to play this game, the collective actualization, without solidifying everything else underneath it. And so their attempt is rather unstable because they don't have a foundation. So that's why this is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. One second. That's why we need to focus on health, wealth, relationships here. And then we want to make sure we are getting our wealth aligned to our life purpose, which brings us above the deficit needs line, which brings us automatically into an abundance mentality. So coming back to wealth here, this is why life purpose is so important. All right. And how do we reset? How we achieve, well, wealth on the highest tier, this is how it works as far as I can tell, right? We develop a relative superpower, which means we practice something to the point where we are relatively better than most people, and then we exchange that skill on the open market. Like you're a plumber, you're a really good plumber, and you know how to exchange that in the open market, and people pay you money, and you go you do plumbing for them. Now you have an exchange, and now you have. That's how wealth works. I'll work. I will find a better way to, smoother way to talk about that. Anyways, another part about wealth is everything in life can be solved with one of these three categories, right? Is it a systems issue? Like a routines. If I put in a routine, morning routine, is it going to solve my problem? If it is, great. That's actually one of the easiest way to solve something. If I put in a routine and it still doesn't solve it, well, it's probably a skills issue. Am I missing some sort of skill or micro skill in here somewhere? If there is no real skills issue, let's say I want to be healthier and I need to go to the gym. I kind of know how to do most of the things, right? If you haven't learned it, you can find a personal trainer to teach you. But once you've learned it, like I just need to get on a treadmill and just keep running, right? It's not a skills issue. Well, what am I missing? It's some sort of shadow emotional challenge. Okay, so it's system, skills, or shadow. Which one of these three things will solve your problem? And this little two here, I call it the second age of enlightenment. This is my goal. This is what I'm aiming everything in my business, in my life towards. What is the second age of enlightenment? Well, the first age is the technological age, scientific age. It got us all the technology that I am currently using right now. I don't know how any of this is made, like not even a clue, but the world knows, right? So that's the first age of enlightenment. However, we're still missing something, aren't we? Well, so the second age is we take all that knowledge or that skill and we apply it to the emotional realm. So this is the age of emotions, the age of infinite beings where we can do whatever we want as long as we don't hurt others or the planet. And that's the tricky part. Okay? So that is wealth on the highest tier. All right, remember, health, one is physical health. One step above that is mental emotional health. One step above that is moment by moment awareness, the realization that every word we speak is already poetry, every movement is already dance, every noise we make is already song. And then we change that moment by moment while doing what we need to do, chop wood, carry water, and that is health on the highest tier. Wealth one is immediate wealth in my bank account. Wealth two is what refills my bank account, which is my businesses, my jobs, careers, or maybe a hobby or my investments. And wealth three is whatever I determine as my life purpose will determine what kind of business, jobs, and careers I go into, which will determine how well it fills my bank account. You see how it flows downwards. Now, whew, quick pause, right? Relationships. As we said earlier, right? Close relationships would be right here. So, kids, if you have any, are right in the very front. They are the first. And then your partners, your family, your friends, your neighbors, your coworkers, your bosses, and then etc. You okay, so these are your close relationships. Where do your close relationships come from? Our community, right? Well, then what is the relationships on the highest tier? Now that is where I pull a lot of Buddhist principles, as well as Byron Katie, right? So as they say, you know, we're all one. Ah, la 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 la, right? We're all Buddhas already. You don't have to do anything. We're all family. Yay! Well, just because I think that way doesn't mean the whole world thinks that way. Doesn't mean that person over there might think that way, right? So let's just keep an eye on our personal self-defense, physical self-defense, right? And same for our community. Got to keep an eye on our vulnerable, elderly, kids, etc., right? So we want to make sure everybody is physically safe. Now, the people that come and stay in our life is determined by how well we maintain our boundaries. And remember, our boundaries include our yeses and our nos, not just nos. So the no's are these blocks, right? That's saying, oh, I've seen this behavior before. It's like, nope, I'm not gonna have a person who lies in my life. Like, please, I will walk away or whatever. A boundary is what I will do. It's not determined by what the other person will do. However, if we're just all boundaries, we don't we're not inviting the positive people that we do want in our life. So we want to find out like, ooh, those kind of person who is always helpful, like, wow, like, and you don't count the cost, like, okay, I want that kind of person in my life. So I create an opening that allows for those kind of people to come in. We may even send out an invitation to them, but people don't have to accept. So they can be like, no, thank you. And they walk away and be like, oh, come back. Like, oh, it could have been great, but we don't chase people down. No, right? We only chase people down because we are not sourcing the love we need from ourselves. So this is what this is. We source our love from ourselves, and it is all a blah. The words aren't quite coming out right for this one, but I think, yep, my mind is blanking out a little bit, but that's the general idea is that eventually we need to realize that we are enough as we are and we take care of our own broken hearts. We will we do it in community, but we also do it with ourselves first. Anyways, it's cool. I'll workshop that part a little bit, right? So we source from ourselves, then we can become a garden. We can be stable. Otherwise, we're always chasing somebody for love, thinking that they're going to fulfill us. Mm-mm. That's very unstable. We can't be a garden if we're always chasing somebody. We can be steady here and we can invite people into our garden so that they can garden with us. Right, so that's boundaries. Now here is, I'm getting a little tired, so just acknowledging that. Taking a super quick little break. All right, I'm going to take a break after this one. This part is the part that I talked about for Byron Katie. The reason I know she is on another level is this. You know how most spirituality people say, oh, don't judge others, otherwise they're going to judge you, right? Byron Katie goes, no, don't worry about that. Go ahead and judge others. Actually, get as petty as you want, and make sure you write it down though. So you make sure you write down all your judgments of others, and then just get really down into it, get really petty, and just write it down. Because you know why? In the end, the joke is on us. Because eventually, all judgment is self-judgment. So, the easier way to do shadow work is actually to look outside to see where we're judging others and then turn it around to see what it says about us. Sometimes we see somebody who is bigger in size and not as healthy, and we're judging them, right? But maybe they're doing their best. Maybe they're just, whatever. It's not about them, right? It's about, oh, it's because I value health and fitness or something. It, it's never truly about anyone else. All judgment eventually is self-judgment, right? So relationships on the highest tier is actually shadow work, parts integration, trauma healing, and how well we truly realize that we are all one, that that person over there is just another version of me that happened to have been born um, in that body, etc., etc. Okay, cool. Now, that is health wealth relationships in 3 ascending tiers so we can get ahead of it. And we also dive down into the details like roots, right? So the physical health equation is rest, fuel, clean dress, exercise, stretch, and balance. For wealth, physical space is wealth. Physical things are wealth. There's my savings and investments, my debts, and my cash flow. Again, this is what makes the money, job, career, or business. And then, right, for close relationships, you want to go further down would be like specifically details of like kids, partners, friends, family, neighbors, coworkers. So you see how this life equations both goes up and goes down in both directions, and we cover them all at once in a systematic manner. Right, so I'm gonna, and one more thing. There's 24 hours in a day, right? What if we imagine them as droplets? We only have 24 drops. And how well we allocate these 24 drops into these buckets, right? I imagine each of these categories as buckets. And they're not all equal, right? I like to think of them as like food pyramid. I spent most of my time down here, again, deficit needs, right? I spent most of my time, maybe 80% down here, 20% up here, maybe, and your percentage can vary, but that's just a general idea, like a food pyramid. So 24 drops, allocate them appropriately, and you'll see your life just thrive as the garden, right? And this is the other way I pictured it. Health, wealth, relationships. Instead of putting them in an ascending hierarchy, which they are, but they are also in here in terms of I put them in a circle. The moment I put them in the circle, I realized, wait, what if I added other rings? And that's how I saw the relationship of getting ahead of things. So the health, wealth, relationship is in here. We start here. We fulfill the first ring, then we go into the second ring, health, wealth, relationship. We fill those rings, and then we go out here, health, wealth, relationships, right? So it's a spiral. But if we lose the physical health, game over. So that's why we start out here and we spiral outwards. And it gives us more to work with than this. So this is far more detailed. You can go up and you can go down. You see health, you have these little details down here, wealth, details here, wealth, relationships, and that's just another way we can see it. All right, last but not least, this is the 3 steps to success. In reality, there's really only one. The one step is know what to do and do it. That's really success is a mechanical process. You do the thing, you get it. But the thing is, we don't always do the thing. So why don't we do it? Well, there's two reasons. Well, two other steps if we don't do number one. Number one is know what to do and do it. But if I'm not doing that, go to number 2. Find the emotional block and reduce it, right? Decrease emotional block. Number 3, if there is no emo, number 3, increase the emotional fuel, right? There, okay, yep. So this is the 3 steps to success. Number 1, know what to do and do it. If I'm not doing that, number 2, decrease any emotional blocks. Number 3, increase emotional fuel. Okay, so this side is the life equation and the steps to success. I'm going to pause here. I haven't even gotten to the other side about the dimensions yet, but that is okay. That is for another time. I'm pretty happy with this one. Okay, pause here. I love you all. See you in the next round. Mwah.